Hello, my friends. It's Julie again from Dragonfly Awakening of Colorado. Last time on Transformation Station, we talked about forgiveness, what it really is, and how to know where you actually are with it. But here's the question that comes up for a lot of people after they've done a lot of healing. How do you trust yourself again after years of doubting your feelings, second-guessing your intuition, or looking outside yourself for answers? So today we're going to explore how to start rebuilding trust in yourself. So you've gone through all this healing of your big wounds. You're not reacting to things the same way you used to. You're prioritizing yourself. You're doing things that are self-loving. You're surrounding yourself with kind, loving, supportive people. You don't feel like you're at the mercy of someone else's unpredictable, terrible moods all the time. You feel like you're handling things in a healthier way now. You're feeling more empowered. But do you trust yourself? No? Maybe? What does that even mean? Trusting yourself again isn't just about being confident, listening to your intuition, and feeling good about your ability to make decisions. It's about repairing your relationship with yourself after years of self-abandonment, ignoring or doubting your feelings, and letting others tell you what's true for you. From very early in life, many of us have people constantly telling us to look outside of ourselves for what's true, for what we should feel, for what we need, who we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to be doing with ourselves, for approval. And if something didn't feel right, maybe we were told that we were wrong, overreacting, dramatic, or just too sensitive. The thing that really grinds my gears is that many of us grow up being trained out of our own knowing. We're taught to ignore what our inner signals are trying to tell us, just so other people don't have to be uncomfortable. When you spend years looking outside yourself for answers, you start to trust everyone but yourself. You learn to trust authority figures. You learn to trust other people's opinions. You learn to trust what keeps the peace. But your own body, your own instincts, your own truth, those become the last things you believe. And to be honest, that kind of pisses me off, because I spent so much of my life not knowing who I was, constantly scanning outside myself for direction and approval, thinking that was normal. It wasn't. It was survival. And it was a pretty hard thing to realize that I had been shoving down the parts of myself that were really true just to make other people happy and my environment peaceful. That anger isn't wrong. Actually, after all this time of being trained out of myself, I see that anger as an achievement. It's the part of me that finally recognizes I deserved better, and so do you. Your inner signals aren't your enemy. They're trying to get your attention. Sometimes they're true intuition. Sometimes they're old fear rising up. Either way, they deserve acknowledgement and curiosity, not dismissal. I want to cover the difference between intuition and trauma response, because there is an important distinction. Sometimes when you start listening to yourself and your own inner signals again, everything inside you feels a lot louder. Alarms start going off. You might get gut feelings, body sensations, impulses to run, withdraw, say no, disappear, or push people away. This is why it can be so confusing at first. Not everything your nervous system sends you is intuition. Intuition is usually quiet, steady, grounded, and clear. It's that thing that says something doesn't feel right, let's slow down and proceed with caution. Trauma is loud, urgent, and fearful. It's the alarm that goes off in you and says, get out now, you're in danger, people hurt you, don't trust anyone. So intuition is usually just calm, centered information you receive through feelings and sensations. Trauma is trying to protect you, sometimes by sounding the alarm, and sometimes by shutting everything down. But whether you're reacting from intuition or trauma, neither one makes you wrong. Your nervous system isn't trying to ruin your life. It's just trying to keep you safe based on what it's learned in the past. This is part of rebuilding trust in yourself. When you feel these signals kick up, pause and ask yourself, is this my intuition speaking? Or is this a part of me that was hurt and trying to protect me from allowing that to happen again? There's no shame in having either type of signal arise, and sometimes pausing or stepping back is the safest thing you can do. But you also don't have to blindly obey every signal that comes up. If you can, in the moment that these signals arise, slow down and ask yourself, what is this reaction trying to protect me from? Is this feeling coming from right now or the past? Most importantly, do I actually have any evidence that I'm unsafe right now? Because honestly, a trauma response isn't necessarily a bad thing. There might have been times when it kept you alive. It just isn't always accurate for the present moment. And if you're not sure which one it is, that's okay. Follow the safest route. Self-trust grows through awareness over time, not forcing yourself to get it right every time. And if self-trust feels really tangled because of trauma or abuse history, working with a good therapist or trauma-informed guide can really help. So, self-trust doesn't come back all at once. You don't flip a switch and suddenly all the signals that come through are accurate. It builds when you consistently show yourself, I hear you. I won't abandon you anymore. And you start by just listening and noticing. So when something feels off, you can just stop and say, all right, something is reacting in me. I'm listening. No judging, forcing, or shaming. Self-trust begins when your inner world has confirmation that when it speaks, someone finally listens. Check in with your body too. Your mind will spin up all kinds of stories, but your body is going to tell the truth about how you feel. Do you feel open or tense? How's your breathing? Is it calm, shallow, fast, slow? Do you feel grounded or like you want to run? Another really helpful thing is to practice making small decisions that are not very impactful. Practice deciding what you really want in this moment. Do I want tea or coffee? Do I actually want to go to this party, or am I going out of guilt or obligation? Do I even like this shirt, or do I just wear it because someone else likes it on me? Practicing making decisions that align with what you actually want teaches your nervous system that your voice and your choices matter. And remember, you have a choice, and most things don't require urgency. Trauma demands urgency. Intuition is patient. If something is feeling intense and you're not sure what to do, you don't have to decide right this second. You can give yourself time. If someone wants to know right now and you know it's not a life or death situation, saying, let me think about it is totally reasonable, and it's also a powerful act of self-trust. Another effective thing you can do is to let your boundaries teach you. When your energy says, that doesn't work for me, or I'm not comfortable with that, or I need space, and you honor that by saying it out loud, you're sending yourself the message that you're protecting yourself now. Boundaries are not selfish. They're evidence of self-trust returning. When you're feeling fear or something really intense, ask yourself some reality-checking questions. What evidence do I have that I'm in danger? Is this happening right now, or is this past pain talking? What would I tell someone I love if they felt this? The intense feelings you have aren't always going to be true about the present moment. So asking yourself these types of questions can be very grounding. Also, celebrate your wins. Self-trust grows when you notice progress. Be aware of how you're operating now and congratulate yourself when you pause instead of spiraling. When you say no when something feels wrong. When you take time to think and honor yourself instead of people please. When you listened to your signals, even if you didn't fully understand them. This stuff really matters because rebuilding trust in yourself isn't about being perfect. It's about slowly proving to yourself that you're not going to abandon yourself anymore. If you take one thing away from this episode, I want you to remember that rebuilding self-trust is about consistently choosing to be there for yourself. It's about showing yourself over time, through your decisions and what you allow into your life, that you're not going to abandon yourself anymore. You learned to doubt yourself for a reason. It helped you survive. So try not to judge where you are. Now you're learning how to listen again. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If this episode helped, please like, subscribe, and share it with anyone who might benefit. If you'd like support on your healing journey, I offer energy healing sessions, and you can learn all about them or book a session at dragonflyawakening.com. And if this holiday season has been particularly intense for you, I'm offering a holiday stress reset. It's a gentle, supportive session to help your system release some of what it's been carrying. If that feels like something you need, you can schedule at dragonflyawakening.com as well. I'll also link another video with more details. Next time, we'll explore living beyond the wound by looking at what it means to stop organizing your life around pain. Until then, I wish you a very happy new year. Take good care of your beautiful self and keep shining your light. Bye. Baka 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 baka.